Could Light Yagami survive Saw? He's a mass murderer who can kill anybody by writing their name. But how much does that really help him when he's locked in a reverse bear trap that'll rip his face apart? Or when he's trapped in a machine that will twist each limb until they break? Or even the trap that'll leave Light in such a disturbing state that it made me contemplate even posting this video. For the first one, let's talk about the reverse bear trap. So Light wakes up with a reverse bear trap on his face. Most people would freak out. Light, he would be mad someone had the nerve to put him there. This guy thinks he's a god, remember? The thing about Light is he's smart, but has zero feelings for others. Literally none. He'd look at the trap like you look at a math problem. Timer, check. Lock, check. Need to cut someone open to get the key? Cool, that's not an issue for the guy who's killed over 1,000 people. Light would just grab the scalpel and get to work. He wouldn't even feel bad about it. Just another Tuesday for Kira, really. What makes it scary isn't the blood or the trap, it's how cold he'd be doing it. Like watching a robot try to pass as a human. The real horror is he'd probably escape faster than most victims. While normal people waste time freaking out, Light would just handle it. And that's way more disturbing than the trap itself. You think about it, the guy kills people while eating potato chips. Cutting open a dead body to save himself, that's just efficiency in his book. The only thing that would bother him is that someone had the guts to try this on him. His ego would take a bigger hit than his jaw almost did. Now the Venus flytrap is where things get good. This thing closes on your head unless you cut out your own eyes to get the key behind it. This one would actually bother Light, not because it would hurt, but because it would mess up his perfect face. Have you seen how much this guy cares about his hair? Light without his looks is like a hammer without a handle. Useless. He uses that pretty boy face. Who wrote this script? He uses that pretty boy face to trick people all day long. He'd try everything to beat the system first. Test the lock, look for weak spots, probably talk trash to the puppet on TV. But with 10 seconds left, he'd do it. He'd cut, but he'd hate every second of it. The best part, every time he looked in the mirror after, he'd remember someone outsmarted him. For a guy like Light, that's worse than the pain. I can just see him trying to convince himself that the eye patch looks cool. Actually, this makes me look more like a god of justice. Sure, buddy, whatever helps you sleep at night. The real horror isn't watching him cut his eye out, it's watching his perfect mask slip as he realizes he's not untouchable. Then there's the needle pit. Thousands of used needles, and the key is somewhere in there. Good luck. You think Light Yagami would jump in there? No way. That's what other people are for. This is where you'd see him at his worst. He'd find the weakest person and go to work. Hey, you want to be a hero, right? All you have to do is grab the key. And he'd say it in such a good way too, just to convince him. He'd stand there watching someone else get stabbed by thousands of needles and checking his watch like he's waiting for a bus. And you sitting there watching this video is probably going to do whatever he asked. Don't lie to yourself. We all think we're the hero until we're in a room with a guy like Light. The scary part is how easy it would be for him. No guilt, no second thoughts, just cold calculation of who's most likely to say yes. Honestly, Light wouldn't even see it as manipulation. In his mind, he's just allocating resources properly. The resources being someone else's body, but hey, details. The needles wouldn't scare Light. People standing up to him would. But what happens when Light can't talk his way out? The angel trap would break Light in a way that others can't. This trap has hooks in your ribs and rip out your whole chest if you fail. But here's the catch. It's impossible to beat. Light's whole thing is beating systems. His brain is wired to find the loophole, the way out. What happens when there isn't one? First, he'd be cool, he'd check the lock, try the key in the acid. When nothing works, he'd get mad. Then he'd get scared. For the first time, he'd feel what his victims felt. No way out. The look on his face when he realizes the game is rigged would be priceless. Light would die angry. He wouldn't cry or beg. He'd curse Jigsaw for being unfair, which is pretty rich coming from the guy who kills people for jaywalking. The real horror isn't watching his chest get ripped open. It's watching the moment he realizes he's not as smart as he thought. Even though watching his ribcage get ripped open would be pretty scary. That perfect brain of his hitting a wall it can't climb over. Imagine his last thought. All that planning, all those deaths, his perfect world gone because he couldn't solve one stupid trap. That's pretty ironic if you ask me. The rack is another good one for Light. It twists your limbs until they snap, one by one, no way to free yourself. Someone else would have to save you. Light's brain can't help him here. His death note can't help him, all his power gone. Imagine Light Yagami. The guy who thinks he's justice itself, screaming as his body breaks piece by piece, no clever plan, no speeches about being a god, just a kid in pain waiting for help that might not come. The trap doesn't care how smart you are. You could be the smartest person in the world, dumbest person in the world. If your bones break, they're gonna break the same way. I bet he'd still try to look cool though. This is nothing. He'd say right until the first snap. Then we'd see the real Light, the one without the mask. Like in the last episode when he started tweaking out. Get a hold of yourself. The worst part for Light wouldn't be the pain, it would be the waiting. The hoping someone cares enough to save him. After all the people he's killed, who's left? Who would even try? His dad might. Elle definitely wouldn't. He'd probably watch while eating cake. Then there's the Brazen Bull. You're locked in a metal bowl that slowly heats up. There's nothing you can do. Your only hope is someone else completing their trap in time to save you. This is actually Light's worst nightmare. His control over the situation and his ability to manipulate are both completely gone. All he can do is wait and cook. Who cooked? Light's whole life is about being in charge. Puppet master. Now he's just meat in an oven, hoping someone cares enough to save him. Which we already talked about. There's probably no one left that wants to save this this dude? Light would probably spend his last moments trying to convince himself this is all part of his plan somehow. I meant to get caught and slowly roasted alive, all according to my plan. Yeah, sure, buddy, whatever helps you sleep. Or not sleep because you're dead. The real horror of the Brazen Bull isn't the heat, it's the waiting. Knowing that every second that ticks by brings you closer to a painful end. And there's not a single thing you can do about it. For a control freak like Light, this is worse than a physical pain. His perfect brain useless, his master plan meaningless, just a guy in a hot box waiting to die. Now for the traps that would truly destroy Light. I love being dramatic. The Kramer Gambit. It's not a real saw trap, but it's a cool hypothetical. Light wakes up in a room with a single death note page and a pen. Through glass, he can see two people, a killer and someone he loves, like his sister, Sayu. I can't pronounce it, I'm sorry. The rules. He can write one name to save himself. The killer, the innocent, or his own. This is genius because there's no right answer for Light. If he kills the criminal, he and Sayu die. His mission fails. If he kills Sayu, he lives, but breaks his own rule about only killing the guilty. If he kills himself, well, it's game over. Light's whole thing is that he never has to make hard choices up close. He kills from a distance, nice and clean. This forces him to get his hands dirty. I'd pay good money to watch Light sweat this out. His perfect little world view crumbling as the clock ticks down. You know what's really messed up? I think he'd kill his sister. He'd tell himself it's for the greater good, that he needs to live to keep cleaning the world. He'd find a way to justify it because that's what Light does best. Lies to himself. The true horror is watching someone twist their own values into knots just to survive. Light would become everything he claims to hate in that moment. But finally, we're gonna talk about the Shotgun Carrousel. Light has to choose which task force member lives or dies. This is perfect because Light pretends to care about these people. He works with them every day, calls them friends, but we know they're just tools for him. Now he has to pick who dies right to their face. No hiding behind a notebook. Would he save his dad? Probably. Matsuda? That guy is dead. The best part would be watching Light try to explain his choices. It's not personal, I just did a cause-benefit analysis and determined Matsuda contributes the least. And everyone would see Light for who he really is. A monster in a really nice shirt. That's the real horror of putting Light in saw traps. Not the blood or the pain, but the moment when the mask slips and everyone sees what's really underneath. The scariest monsters aren't the ones with fangs or claws, they're the ones that look just like us. That can smile and shake your hand while planning your death. Light Yagami in a saw trap isn't scary because he might die. It's scary because we might see what he really is, and worse, we might see a bit of ourselves within him. But hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and if you enjoyed this one, you're really gonna like the one on screen right now.